Hey guys, it's Aubrey here. Today's video is going to be on 3 different yoga poses: Ardha Uttanasana, Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, and Trikonasana. I'm also going to cut this video into 3 separate videos so that if you just want to do one of the poses, you can simply click on that video and do them individually. I'll attach that in the link below. I did want to mention that we will be practicing the Iyengar style of yoga. That's the type of class that I teach and it's the type of training that I had. So let's jump right into it and start in Ardha Uttanasana, half intense pose at the wall. What I'm into is Ardha Uttanasana, and we're going to use the wall to come into it. So we're going to stand nice and close to the wall. Take your hands and make them shoulder width and shoulder height apart from one another. Really spread the hands here. Give them a nice good stretch. Don't ignore them. A lot of people tend to ignore the palms, but really spread the fingers and try to get the thumbs to line up with one another. Lengthen the upper body and then step away from the wall 3 to 5 feet, taking the feet hip width apart. Also, make the outer edges of your feet parallel to one another by taking out your heels just a little bit. Ground down through the feet in such a way that you'll notice your toes will want to lift and spread, and that's a good thing. We're giving the feet a nice good stretch here as well. Also notice that my ankles lift when I do this. So here's my feet being passive, here's me engaging my feet and grounding down through. Okay, you want to firm the legs, and you also want to roll the front thighs in and lift the kneecaps in such a way that they face forward. Then look back up, and we're going to bring our attention to the arms. So I'm still pressing my palms, and then I'm going to roll my upper arms out and plug my shoulder blades down in the back so that the neck lengthens. Inhale nice and deep, and then as you exhale, press your hands into the wall as you take your hips away from the wall and create space there. Keep rolling your front thighs in and pressing the tops of your thighs back. Fully lengthen the arms and lengthen the sides of your chest. Remember to keep the shoulder blades down in the back so that the neck fully lengthens, and soften the lower abdomen. A lot of people want to overarch in the back or curve the back, but you need to make sure that you keep the upper back in. And to assist the problem of wanting to overarch in the lower back, you draw the navel in towards the spine and then re-lengthen the spine. And that should help you keep everything nice and centered. Okay, soften the breath. Notice where my ears are. My ears are in line with my upper arms, and my gaze is down at the floor. Stay like this for a few minutes, as long as you're able to, and then come up with a lifted chest. Step forward towards the wall. Take a breath into Padasana, and then you are done with the pose. Prasarita Padasana, which is upward extended legs, and we're going to use the wall again for this pose. So to come into the pose, you want to sit down with bent knees, feet on the floor, and use your body to get the right side, use your hands to get the right side of your body nice and close to this wall, touching, legs touching, sides touching, arms touching. With your left hand on the floor, you're going to lower your body down onto the floor, but keep using your hands to keep pressing your bottom up against the wall. You want it to maintain contact with the wall the whole time. Then you're going to roll over and take your feet straight up. So make sure that your bottom's still touching the wall. It's got nice good contact. You can scooch in a little if you need. And then focus on the legs. So we're going to roll the front thighs in so the kneecaps face forward. Lengthen through the inner edges of the legs, and then when you get to the toes, spread the toes. Then draw your outer thighs down towards the floor and flatten the sacrum. And those are the actions you want to maintain throughout the legs. Then focus on the upper body. Lengthen along the sides of your chest, and then roll the tops of your shoulders down in such a way that the sides of the chest lift. Okay, so with my shoulders pressing down, rolling down and pressing down, let your arms fall by your sides, about 45 degrees away from the body, and the palms face the ceiling. Make sure you lengthen through the neck and keep the throat soft. Keep the face soft. And then this is the pose. So you can stay in here for a few breaths, stay in here for a few minutes. This is a really good pose for anyone who's on their feet all day. I know when I was pregnant, that first trimester, I had to come home and do this every day after work. So it's a nice way to get the blood flowing in an opposite direction. This is the first part of the pose. For the second part, you're going to firm your arms. Inhale and maintain the actions of the legs and the upper body. And then exhale as you swing the arms overhead. Still rotating the arms, the upper arms from the inside out. Okay, from the inside out. And the palms face one another. You spread your fingers. Keep the shoulder blades down in the back so that the neck still lengthens. And again, soften the face, soften the throat. Keep rolling your front thighs in, extending through the inner edges of the feet, spreading the toes, and pulling your outer thighs down, your outer hips down into the floor. So, like I said, stay like this for a few breaths, for a few minutes. 5 to 10 minutes in this pose is great. And then to come out, you simply take your hands back down by your sides. Bend the knees. Take your right arm overhead and roll onto the right side. And then you can push yourself up. And that was Urdhva, Prasarita, Padasana. Trikonasana, which is triangle pose. Triangle pose is the standing pose. It's really the most basic of the standing poses. And in Iyengar yoga, most teachers will recommend that beginners use 1 to 2 blocks. You'll see why in a moment if you haven't done triangle pose before. But I also wanted to show you that if you don't have, blocks and the other props for your yoga, then you can use something as simple as a textbook or even a stack of printer papers. That's what I'll be demonstrating with today. So when you come into triangle pose, you want the blocks or your textbook or your papers to be to the right of your body and just back from your heel. Okay, so if there was a line along the back of my heels, the paper would be right behind that line. So you want to start by standing tall. We're going to step the feet wide apart, and then you want to make the outer edges of your feet parallel to one another. So press down into the outer edges of the feet and notice that the inner ankles will lift. We're going to do the right side, so you can take your hands to your hips for now. We're going to get the legs in place. We're going to turn the right foot all the way out. Left toes slightly in, just keep the left heel down, turn the left toe slightly in. And then with the left leg, you're going to press into your outer left heel, and you're going to keep the top of your left thigh back as you come into this pose. The right leg. Notice I'm still pressing down through the feet, spreading my toes, lifting my ankle, and then to get the right knee in place, you want to rotate that right thigh out and plug it into your hip bone. And then your legs are good to go. So once your legs are nice and firm, you're going to lift the upper body, lengthening the spine, lifting the ribcage up. Take the shoulders down in the back and take your arms by your sides. Rotate the upper arms out, reach through the fingertips. Inhale, and then as you exhale, keep your torso facing forward as you reach towards the blocks, towards that right foot. And then take your hand, either if you can grab your leg, you can touch the floor, but only if you're able to keep your body facing forward. So if you start to lean at an angle, then that means that you need some support. And when you add that support, your chest should face forward. So add as much support as you need to keep the chest facing forward. I've seen people use chairs if they're really tight in the side and not able to keep the chest facing forward. You can use something as high as a chair. Keep the chest facing forward. Keep the shoulder blades down in the back. Keep the upper arms rolling out and maintain the actions of the legs. So I'm still pressing into my outer left heel, still pressing the top of my left thigh back in space, pressing down through my right foot as I rotate my right thigh out. And then if I'm comfortable with my balance, let the back of the head drop and gaze up at the palm. Soften the throat, soften the breath, and soften the lower abdomen. Stay like this for a few breaths, for a minute, whatever you're comfortable with, however far you feel like pushing yourself for the day. And then to come up, press down through the feet, keep the legs nice and strong to come up with a lifted body. You can take your hands to your hips, turn your feet to face forward, and then you can step your feet back together. Take a breath in Tadasana, and then we'll do the left side. So for the left side, you would simply move the block, or if you have two blocks, you can have both set up in their proper position before you come to the pose. So my block, my book, my papers, they're to the left side of my body this time, slightly back from my heels. Again, you want to stand nice and tall, step the feet wide apart, and one way that you can tell that you're stepping your feet wide apart far enough is imagine that you have string dangling from your wrist. When you take your wrist out to the side, if the string would tickle your outer ankles, that means that your feet are far enough apart. Okay, so let's go ahead and take our hands to our hips again and get the feet back into place. So turn the turn the left foot all the way out. This time right foot slightly in. Press into your outer right heel. Keep the top of the right thigh back. Press down through the left foot as you rotate the left thigh out. Relift the upper body. Lengthen the spine. Lift the bottom rib cage up. Keep the shoulder blades down in the back. Take your arms out to the sides. Rotate the upper arms out and lengthen through the fingertips. Inhale. Remember to keep the chest facing forward, and as you exhale, lengthen the left side of the body as you bend from the hips, coming to your leg or the floor or the block. Remember to keep the chest facing forward. Keep the upper arms rolling out. Keep the shoulder blades down in the back. Still press into your outer right heel. Keep the top of the right thigh back. Press down through the left foot as you rotate the left thigh out. And again, if you're comfortable with your balance, you can gaze up at your palm by letting the back of the head drop toward the floor. Soften the breath and the throat. Stay like this again for several moments or several breaths. And to come out, press down through the feet and come up with nice strong legs. Turn your feet to face forward. Take your hands to your hips, and you can step your feet back together and take a final breath in Tadasana. The 3 yoga poses for this small sequence. They're good poses to do when you have 10 or 15 minutes, when little one's taking a nap, or when you first wake up, or when you get home from work. They're going to stretch the arms, the legs, the lower back. Standing poses like triangle pose will build strength throughout the legs as well as the upper body. And keep in mind that if you just want to watch one pose at a time, I will attach links below so you can do that as well. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, more yoga poses, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.